Well, good morning on Groundhog Day 2015. It was a year ago, February 6th, 2014, that we last were making progress on the 1946 Gar Wood Ensign. Between then and now, the only thing we've done is to prime and paint the topsides. They've had, so far, RJ, four coats of Interlux Premium Yacht Enamel in semi-gloss number 202. But now we are, John, you want to show us why that one's so badly split, how that's split? Now we are removing the foredeck planks.
The king planks.
And we've made a really difficult decision. And RJ, if you pick up a couple of those, you can demonstrate the splits and the, almost every one of these planks is marred, split, or cupped. And the cupping is what has led to a lot of these splits. That was a single board at one point. Should have been.
This was a single board.
Yep. And turn it up. This is what we're up against. So we've made a really tough decision. We can save both covering boards. And these will be original 1946 mahogany. The foredeck absolutely has to be replanked. Something we don't do lightly because we view ourselves as preservationists, not plankivationists. We don't replace planks unless they're absolutely necessary. So we got back here and John asked me, what do you want to do? You want to just strip this? Well, then we pulled out the screws. That was one board. That was one board.
Hey, look.
Hey, we got a whole board. Another whole board. But you see even here, the holes are all just torn asunder. The holes through the planks are so open and large that we would have to plug them and re-drill them. And in doing that, it's very difficult to ensure that you're not going to see the edges of the new plugs. As we keep going across, the song remains the same.
This used to be one board. This used to be one board without this other board attached to it. Whoops, that one's now two boards. But in replacing the aft deck, it would be a sin to actually keep this old board here and have the splits and the checks in it, and then have all the other new deck down here. So.
And then, John, I think we might want to share with them the work that you've done securing the aft deck bow piece, and the same with the foredeck. What did you find?
Well, when we tore the decks apart, I found this frame was sitting low right here, 1/4 inch, and I could actually grab onto it and lift it up and down 1/4 inch. So what I did, I anchored this board better to this piece of framing right here, and then I brought that all up even with this inside board, gunnel board here, the finish board, and I put in more screws, long screws into this piece of framing, into the gunnel framing. And now you can actually pick the boat up with that corner.
And the other corner you counted the same thing, right?
Exactly the same on this front.
Yep.
That corner, you can pick the boat up with that now.
Nice thing is that we will save the combing. That is not going to be replaced. And RJ, you can show over there, I think John did much the same thing in that corner, right?
Yep, he already fastened the dash.
That corner was literally floating, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can,
Once.
I could
Grab that other piece.
I could pick the boat right up with these corners now, whereas before they would float up and down 1/4 inch.
And it's interesting, we have a friend, Tom Scheider in North Carolina, who is also restoring a 46 Gar Wood, but a varnished one, not a white-sided ensign. And we kept emailing back and forth, and he said, look at this, did your boat do this? Does your boat have that? And I said, yeah, and in particular, both boats have this funky extra piece going across where the aft end of the foredeck planks will land. But as John is showing, when we get this board in the proper place,
Bring it back a little, RJ. Right there.
right there, Gar Wood's designers, you can show the space, John.
Well, there's a 1-inch space in between this board and the frame board here. But doesn't the dash slides up in there and screws in, right?
Should hold it.
And then this is a spacing that it's kind of like a trim board over the
Yeah,
top of
the crash pad goes, upholstery crash pad goes on there. But truth be told, there are no fastener holes in this face that go into that go into the dashboard. So the only thing that's holding this bow in place, the fasteners going through down through the aft end of the foredeck planks.
Corners.
Yes, and the corners were secured by these really fancy,
rusty metal brackets.
yeah, good old-fashioned drugstore variety, hardware store variety L brackets. And just as we were looking at those things, I get an email from John, who's doing the other Gar Wood, with photographs.
These are the fancy L brackets that hold that piece on, that holds the crash pad.
So we're going to put those in the bead blaster to see if we can save them. Oh no, it's broken all the way through and through, John.
It's rusted through.
So I guess we're going to find some nice fancy stainless steel L brackets. Actually, what I want to do is forego the L brackets entirely and install a nice little block of wood beneath this bow piece that goes across and fasten it that way. It'll be so much stronger.
The combing boards would look much nicer too.
Yep, they would.
Without this rusting into the combing board.
Yep. So that's where we are. We're back at work on the Ensign. We will be following up on a regular basis, chronicling the remainder of her restoration. We have filled, and that is, I have filled every one. I think I went through 1,200 picks to fill all the fastener holes in her decks and gunnels. So on Groundhog Day, 16 inches of snow coming. Oh, there's a pair of stainless steel. That should do the job, and they're probably as heavy as the other ones were when they were new. That's what's going to go on.
You can't bend that.
No.
As hard as you want to squeeze, you ain't gonna bend it.
Good. So it's Groundhog Day up here. They've now raised the snow forecast to 16 inches. Supposed to snow till 1 o'clock this morning. And then just to make everybody really happy, the temperature's going to drop into the double-digit negative territory. So goodbye for today from Snake Mountain Boat Works.